pre-show music. Start the pre-show music. Come on. There we go.
We set out on the path at the break of dawn. Had to throw out blues and shake off the yawns. Come on now, let's cut me a task. It's 3 a.m., but we aren't coming back to the love that we had made when we were lads. Oh, I'm coming back. You ask me what you see down by the path. It ain't no fuzzy thing, it's a dream that we passed. This trail lands. Oh, it's 3 a.m., but we aren't coming back to the love that we had made when we were lads. I'm coming back. It's 4 a.m., but we aren't coming back to the bed that we had made when we were lads. I'm coming back.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt Walker, for the pre-show and opening music. Matt Walker, musician, comedian, artist out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Also a cast member here of FST Improv. Thank you so much, Matt, and welcome to the FST Improv interview. My name is Will Loera, Director of Improvisation at Florida Studio Theater in Sarasota, Florida. So our FSC Improv interviews are one of our virtual shows, our weekly virtual shows that we're doing, and very exciting opportunity to interview improv actors, teachers, directors, administrators from around the world to learn about the craft from them, share stories, talk about life, etc. Now it is our FSC Improv interview is just one of our virtual shows. We do have several others on Thursday nights at 9:15 p.m. We do Spanish speaking improv with Impro Latinx, also streaming over at FST over our Facebook page. We have our improv interviews. We also have closed shows that we run over Zoom and then get streamed. So if you want to be a part of that audience, you can. Tonight we have a house party featuring two of our house teams at 8 o'clock right after this. And tomorrow, we're no longer doing the radio call-in show, but we are doing a virtual long-form set at 7 o'clock. And then tomorrow at 8, we're doing a show called Sketch Prov. featuring a collection of different improvisers that who get to plan their sketches in advance, their improv scenes in advance, and then you, the audience, get to vote on it. So yeah, so those are our many virtual shows. But tonight, we our special guest, we are it's our second Florida week in a row where we get to meet another one of the improv community leaders here in the state of Florida. I've had a chance to work with our guests several times, and really looking forward to learning more about improv. I'm learning more to talk about improv with him and learn more about what he does. So let's welcome to the Zoom stage, Anthony Francis. Anthony, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, Will. Hi,
Hello,
America. Hey, thank you very much for having me. This is great.
It felt like you were about to go into a speech. Hello,
No.
America.
Hello, America. That's it. That's all I have. I want to say your music is great. Matt Walker is on my my like rotation list, like on my liked music. So it's this, I've been listening to the same songs for the last 2 years, and he's on there. And my Promises Become Lies. If you want to hear some good Matt Walker music, although you did just hear some good Matt Walker music, but Promises Become Lies is like such a good song.
So this is the topic for today is Matt Walker.
Yes. Please.
You know, I'm actually going to get to see Matt Walker on Sunday. Do you think it would be too much, like when he comes over, we're going to hang out in our carport, if I just casually leave a guitar out there, then when he arrives, it's like, oh wow, what is this doing here?
Yeah, I'm gonna have him sign my phone because that's where Spotify is. I'm gonna have him when I see him next. Will you sign this? It's the only way. I'm sure he has an album I could probably get, but yeah, he's awesome. And you're awesome for putting together so many, listening to all the shows and opportunities you have. You know, it's so great, and like FST is like that whole street is like a playground of just like theater, and it's fascinating. So it's really great. From Delray Beach, it's nice to see all that stuff going on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. And, I've also appreciated a lot of the work that you've done. I know the last year or so has been a lot of pivoting, a lot of leaning into our art form in different ways.
Did something happen this year?
Well, yeah, I mean, happy anniversary. All right.
Thank you. Yes, to you as well.
Yeah, happy lockdown anniversary. So
yeah.
I mean, I was dreading this day for a while, where the Facebook memories would start to come up, and it's like, oh
yeah. It was St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's going to be drinking, and we're all going to have different reasons now for drinking on St. Patrick's Day. It's rough.
I want to know. So I want to know more about your work. So you are part of. I consider you part of the local community, even though we're several miles away. We're like 90 miles away from each other, 100 miles away from each other.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. But we're part of the same improv community. And I've admired the stuff that I mean the stuff that you put together, from your festivals to the shows to your the space that you had, etc. So it's very admirable.
And that means a lot, because you've been to Dubai doing improv. I'm like, I say to my wife, I'm like, how do I get to Dubai and do improv? So thank you. No, that means a lot. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So
tell me, like, where did you start? No, it's all right. Where did you start doing improv?
Well, I started doing improv in Fort Lauderdale at the South Florida School of Acting. I don't think that's the right name anymore. But Michael Joya was the teacher there. This is the where I originally started. The first time I was ever really introduced to improv was there. The biggest influence on me, or the rocket ship of improv, was Casey Casperson and Sick Puppies. Casey creating a space and doing that. But my first experience was I was taking acting classes there, and they said, we have improv classes. And I remember saying, I'm witty, I'm funny, I'll do that. I'm a class clown, so sign me up. Let me give it a try. I like Whose Line. Like, it was all that. I was 29, and I'm now I'm 24. So No, I was now I'm 30. I'm 30. Let's say 38 because I think I might be
Yeah.
37, but I might be 38 as well. So so I started when I was 29, and I was just like, I did the alphabet game. It was the first time, around the alphabet. We did that, and I just remembered, just like, what is this? What is this? I've never experienced anything like this before, and I'm built for this. And my whole life, I've done a lot of things that I did not feel built for. I just sports, even singing. I was a boy soprano. I sang in the church choir, and as much as I enjoy singing now, it was very difficult for me to sing in terms of like getting up in front of a crowd and all that. And it's just I couldn't read music. I had to kind of I had to memorize it, to go by ear. I had to just kind of fudge my way. But with improv, I didn't have to fudge. It was 100%. I was built for this. I was like, oh, this is nice. And that was my very first experience with it, was there. And Todd Bruno, who is a local actor, I don't know, but you might know him, but Todd Bruno is more on the acting side, but he was my first improv teacher officially. Okay. And but then Casey and Sick Puppies and Casey just I was going to drive to Miami and do improv down at Just the Funny. And I was in talks with one of their people there to really go down. I had sent them an email. They were emailing me back. And I said, and then I met someone at work who said, oh, I do improv in Boca. And I was like, there's no improv in Boca. And she's like, oh yeah, there is. And so I went and checked it out. And then I was with Sick Puppies for like 2.5 years.
So what does that mean? I was built for, what does that mean to you? Because I think we were I almost feel like we're like, so many of us are built differently for improv, right? So
right.
I want to, for you, like, what does that mean?
Oh man. So
like, what is it? What spoke to you about it?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
My brain moves. I don't sound like my brain moves kind of fast. I've got ADD, or I was diagnosed with ADD in the 80s. I guess it's ADHD now, as a kid. And so it's very difficult to stay focused unless it had my attention. People with ADHD tend to follow the dopamine. And so with improv, I felt a connection. I felt I'm good at reading people, in the sense of like, I can play. And the way that I guess my upbringing, the approach that I have with my own life, where I want to support, I want to help. And improv lets me do that. Improv lets me support and help. And that's my favorite thing about it, is to think quickly and support my partner, to where it's just that we get that magic where it's like, who wrote this? It's like, no one wrote it. We're just doing it. But that's, I think, where it comes from for me. And characters, taking something and turning it on its ear, kind of that sort of thing. Looking at it from a different angle. I really like it. My brain likes the speed of improv.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm glad. As soon as you started to say my brain, like some of those words came out when I first asked the question. I'm like, yes, I get it. I totally get it. Because I do think that, and maybe now I'm talking as an instructor, a little bit as as a teacher. I do feel like in my level one, like the way you said it, I was built for improv, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I think I was too. Like I remember the moment that it clicked with me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the thing I want to be doing. For some reason, this unlocks like every it unlocks the discipline aspect of me, the studious aspect of me, the part of like the fun, it just unlocked what is one art form, unlocked it for me. And so I totally get it. But then I also, as a teacher, I'm just like, I want to spread that joy. It's like, I want everybody to see that. But one thing I've learned as a teacher is that not everybody will see it the same way. And it's almost like my job to help you find your path to improv that works for you. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also want to say, it's the people. it was the first time in my life that I was around people who, maybe not the first time. I've met people before, you know, when you're waiting in line and you meet someone. I'll never forget. I was at like a fair, and I met a guy and we were talking and we were just kind of doing bits, and like you just like link up. And I was like,
Yes.
and that person was gone forever. And I was like, but I'll never forget, like, just like riffing with that guy. And I didn't know what that meant or what was going on. But then when I joined
Mm,
improv, everyone was that guy, like
yeah.
everybody was like, I'm used to going too fast for people, in the sense of like, what's my comedy? Like, some people, a lot of people didn't get it, or whatever. And then, I meet other people that totally get it. They're 100% on board. I am not going too
Mhm.
fast for them. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know
Yeah.
that this community of people existed. And then now, like with this, um, when you're around that many, those kinds of people, and then you get away from those people, you realize you're like, what an amazing group we have as improvisers. That is a
Yeah.
special group of people.
So we're starting the, and I think I've found the topic for today. And this is around community, because you've used the word several times, and I think we're kind of both dancing around this thing about how this craft, this art form brings like-minded individuals together. Because you're right, there is like that guy that you connected with, and then suddenly there's a whole community of people that connect in this way. So that's very special. Now I find myself, and I know you've been an administrator of improv spaces as well.
I
I
have
find
Excel
myself in that.
spreadsheets. Yes.
Yes. I find that you're being often in that position where you have to balance the Excel spreadsheets, but also the balance of the community, right? Because I mean that's, I think what makes an improv community successful is that is this collection of people, right? And I enjoy doing it in Boston. I enjoy doing it here in Sarasota, getting people excited about this art form, and then getting all of these different like-minded people to work together. And I imagine you probably have similar challenges or dreams also in your community.
Absolutely. And I think for us, it was the drop-in classes, and it kind of happened very organically, very, very organically. I wanted to keep teaching. So I started teaching, and I was teaching with sick puppies, and I wanted to keep teaching. So I started teaching in Delray. And I said, you know what? I want to do these drop-in classes. I'd been speaking with Patrick McGinnis, and he had said, you know what? The drop-in class is a really great way to teach. I wanted to cut my teeth as a teacher. I really wanted, and as a director, I really wanted to just be a better teacher. So I said, how can I do that? And my philosophy is, if I want to get better at something, I'm going to just create the work for myself. That's why I have a podcast. I wanted to get better at producing podcasts. So that's 40% of why I do it. But like, so I started teaching these drop-in classes. I said $10, 2.5 hours every single Monday night. And the reason for that was I wanted to just see who in the area wanted to do improv. I didn't know who wanted to do it. There is no improv in Delray. So at the time there was no improv in Delray. Now you have like the Coop, which is out of Rebecca Lovelace's doing the Coop. And there's one other person, and that's great. We got one more, that's great. But yeah, it was started with the drop-ins. I had like 2 students one night. I had 3 students another night. Another night, nobody showed up. I was renting space out of a community center. And then one night I had 33 people show up at once in one night, in half a room. And then out of those people, 7, 8 of those people became regulars. And then they got their own night. And then they were like, let's put on a show. And so that's kind of how I think it starts. You got people that love it, and then you have people that want to take it to the stage side of things. But that's how that's how I see growing the community.
Yeah. And then creating that space for all, or I mean, I don't know if that's as much of a priority for you as it is for me, but definitely creating the space for all of these different groups to
You have
continue to
to.
thrive. Yeah.
There's one person out of 1,000 improvisers that says, you know what? I want to take time and energy to create a space for other improvisers.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to say that they don't, other people don't want to do it, but just the law of the way, you got to be able to take the time out from work. You've got to have some money to put up for a space. You got to have some, all that stuff has to come into play. And so 1 out of 100 improvisers, wants to, from a drop-in class, might want to go to the stage, and then 1 out of 10 of them might end up being a teacher and or holding a space for people. It's just, it's rare, I think.
Yes. A couple of comments. First, I'll start. Kathy Rinaldi, we love Anthony. He's been so helpful to both Impromptu Improv and Unconsciously Coupled. Just a really good guy. Dash and funny.
Thank you.
Exclamation. And then we have somebody else asking. Steve Araman is asking, does Improv U conduct open mics for new comics?
We don't do any open mics now. We used to when we had our own space, our own physical space. Right now, I just have a Monday night drop-in that's free, and you have to sign up for it on our website. You go to the drop-in page, just put your name and email address in. Sorry to plug during your show, Will. But if you do that, that's all we have right now. I did have a jam that I'm actually putting on hold right now because I'm just trying to. I know we talked about doing too much, and I've had to say no to a couple of things, including some of my own things. But I love doing improv with anybody. I just love doing improv with anybody, and that's what the jam was. But I have to take a break for that right now because I want to focus on the drop-ins and keep having that educational aspect of things right now.
Saying no. That is such a, I mean, that's one of the, I don't want to say unfortunate because it's brought so many gifts for me, but one of those things how improv rewires your brain over time, right? Is so there's one saying, quote, cliche that I don't like that kind of falls in the same realm of saying yes to all opportunities. Like when I sometimes hear people say, fake it till you make it, right? And I'm like, God, no, it's not about that. It's not about just like saying yes and then just struggling until you get it. For me, it's always been like every opportunity can lead to another opportunity, or just the opportunity, like you were saying, I want to help this person get to the next thing. I mean, the number of pots I have going right now is absolutely crazy, even during our ongoing lockdown. But I need to learn how to say no. And
it's heartbreaking every time. It really is. Like, I know it sounds, but it really affects me to say no to people because I want to support them and I want to help them. And like, certain things that I want to be a part of because I want to perform. Like I want to perform. I want to be on stage, or I want to, I want to work on the craft myself. But there's so much that goes into holding a space, and even online. I would say it's somewhat more online for some reason, mainly because this is me all day during the day to pay the bills, and this is me at my leisure time, and this is where I used to go to escape. Or like improv used to be a real world thing, but now it's also here. And so I think that's part of the 90% of the problem is everything's happening in this box. And that's for me is what's really affecting me right now.
Here's a weird thing that happened in the last couple of months. I was in the beginning was very much against the only way to describe it, I guess, would be Zoomprov. I'm like, I'm going to try to create forms that fit the technology. I'm like, that was my big thing after the first few months. And then I actually ended up getting invited to do this long form show out of Oakland, out of San Francisco. These guys, I knew one of them. He invited me in as a guest, and he kept inviting me. Now, like, he made me part of his cast. And it's the one show that reminds me of like, oh yeah, this is what it used to be like. But it's over Zoom. And thankfully I found that thing that I look forward to. It's like, for them it's 8:00. So for me it's 11:00 on Saturdays. But it's like, it's still, it's a blast. I'm loving it. I didn't think I would achieve that, but again, I could have said no to that, but I said yes, and it's led to this gift. But you're absolutely right that I love the way you put it. Everything is now here. Everything. Yeah. Right. Our work, our leisure, our fun. Wow. Yeah. And then it's like there's no travel time anymore. So
Right.
like everything just stacks on top of one another. Sorry.
No. I agree so much with what you're saying, and I also agree that yeah, there's these shows that online improv. Some people are like, oh, I don't like Zoom improv, and I make the joke that it's diet soda and it's sugar-free ice pops. It's like, do we have dessert? Well, we kind of have dessert. It's sugar-free ice pops. Technically, it's dessert. No one, I think, but there are shows, and I've had so many great moments where I've done scenes just like in the real world where I'm like, oh, you know what? That was really, really good. I really like that. So that still exists here. We are missing big components of what we do. Improv was never. I don't believe it's meant for this.
Yeah.
But we've also been able to reach more people than ever before. And I've gotten to do improv with people from all over the country, all over the world. I've gotten to do improv with people in Europe, in the UK, like all over the place. It's been wonderful in that regard. But we're just finding silver linings on a situation that I think no one really would have done.
Yeah.
I took some online classes. It's fine, but yeah.
Now, I don't want to lose sight of like the main the thing that I find you very gifted in. I mean, outside, I've seen you perform. Very funny, great voice. By the way, I got to see one of your one man musical. I think at the Countdown Improv Fest. So I'm like, I didn't know this guy had pipes. Look at him. But again, going back to the community building, like I think that is your 1 in 1,000 like ratio. I think is right. Like I mean, within those 1,000 people, we could break it down. I mean, everybody finds their role, right, in that. But then you're right. There's very few people that will go ahead and like say, okay, I'm going to create space for others. But you've done that, and I know that you continue to work to do that. You keep wanting to create that space for others through classes, through performance opportunities, et cetera. So do you see your ongoing work? What's in store for you? Like, how are you going to continue to do this work?
Going forward, well, I would say for me, one thing that I at the end of, oh my God, at the end of 2019, yeah. So right before the pandemic hit, I had just closed my theater, and I was well overdue for a 2-month break of everything. That's funny now to me because I got way more than 2 months off. Yeah. I got like 8 months off. And but in those 2 months, I can't tell you how good it felt not to do anything and to kind of sit back and try to figure out what I want to do. Fast forward to now, I've really had a lot of time to sit and figure out what I want to do. We are still going to hold a space for students. We're still going to offer a drop-in class. I am not going to be opening a theater anytime soon, ever again. I won't get into the details, but there's a lot of devils you have to deal with when you open a theater. And I'm pretty sure I fought them all. I'm pretty sure I've dealt with every devil that I really do. So from broken sewer pipes to crooked landlords to dangerous people to just there's a lot that I don't want to sully the show. My point is this. To make it positive. Hey, everyone watching at home. So Anthony doesn't want to bring you down. I ran a theater and it affected me a little. But no matter all of that, I will always, America, listen. It will never, if that didn't break me, nothing's going to break me. I will never stop providing a space for people because I believe everyone should know how to do improv. And I'm going on a tangent. Let me tell you what I'm doing.
No,
I'm focusing
do it.
I'm focusing on Ant Farm. I'm focusing on my solo improv show, and I want to focus more on solo sketch comedy personally.
Ooh,
because I need to do that for me because there's certain areas that I feel I'm deficient in the art of comedy. I can do improv and I love improv, but I want to be able to can some of that improv. And so I want to capture some of that lightning and I want to put that and I want to create a show. Why don't I want to do a show? I think why don't I want to hold large teams or do stuff like that? In my experience, it is difficult to manage improvisers. I'm not built for it. So I love teaching, and I'm going to do my thing. And if people want to come with me, then they can come with me. And I know that's just been me, like my experience. And it's heartbreaking too. You know, my teams fell apart after, except for Belvedere. Belvedere is just my student group, but business casual really just kind of disintegrated because because of COVID and everything. So that's what I'm focusing on, and I'm going to focus on teaching. I do want to continue to do a drop-in, and I do want to continue to have a space for my advanced students. But other than that, yeah, and I'm just going to try and find a space. That's the hardest thing right now. That's the one thing I don't have an answer for, is where are we going to go when we go back? Like, where can we? I got to see what's the situation. I know there's a lot of for lease, a lot of empty buildings, so we'll see. But that's really kind of the thing. I heard a thing that someone said. I was listening to a podcast, and they said, if you continue to be a show booker, you will no longer be seen as an artist. You'll be seen as a show booker.
Oh,
and
man,
as much as I loved what I did and what I was able to give to the community with the theater, I have a lot more shows I need to do before I'm sitting behind a desk booking other people's shows.
Love it. That's inspiration, man. Like, I get that. I totally get that. One of the things that keeps happening to me, and I know we're running up against time here, is that, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm bragging. It's going to sound a little bit like I'm bragging, but I don't mean it to. But it's kind of in line with what you're talking about. Is that whenever I go teach somewhere, like I teach at a conference, I do whatever. Like, one of the questions that I hear almost every single time is, "Do you have a book?" And I'm just like, "No, I don't." And this has been like for the last 10 years. And then I'm just like, it's on my list of it's on my to-do list. But if it stays where it currently is on my to-do list, I'll get to it in about 25 years. And so I got to prioritize it. I got to make the time to do so that I'm not just the person who that balances the Excel spreadsheets for improv shows and runs auditions and does all that. But that me time is important. Going back to something that's been threading through this entire thing. At least that me time, not to be selfish, but so that I could grow as an artist.
I see so much of myself in you, in the way that you're talking, because the truth is, you've given so much of your time and your talents and your treasure. You've given a lot to the community, and at the same time, you still feel like, oh, I don't want to take I don't want to take the spotlight, or I don't want to take this time. But like, it's okay. You're a performer. You're a damn good performer. You should get out on stage. You need to, because the thing is, you're teaching when you're on stage. I can tell my students what they should be doing. I could tell my students to be handing flyers out on the street and put butts in seats, and this is the real thing you need to be doing. Or I can go sell out a show.
Yeah.
And I can show them how to do it. Rather than tell them how to do it, I can just show them how to do it. I'm going to go, I'm going to book a show, and I'm going to sell it out. I'm going to do Ant Farm, and I'm going to sell it out somewhere. And you're going to see me on the street handing out flyers to my show. And that's the lesson. We can't, go do your show. Not to, but Will needs help. America. Hey, America.
Hold on. Right. There we go. There it is.
Hey, America. Will needs help. These people who are facilitating your classes and your shows, and who create a space for you to perform, help them out. Stay after, sweep the floor, hand out tickets, maybe offer to manage that Excel spreadsheet. Like, give him the help that he needs, just so he can have a little bit of a break. He or she, or they, whoever is running your theater, go to them and say, what can I do to help? And they're not going to know, because they don't know how to respond to that. But they're going to be, I don't know, but you're going to find something. I want you to look around the room and find something to help them with. Thank you.
Yes. And I think those are great words to end on.
And just one quick caveat. I've had lots of help. I would not have been here if it wasn't for the incredible community that we have down here. I
absolutely agree.
I've been helped. Yes, absolutely been helped by everybody. And I can name a million different people, but like Aaron, Rebecca, Robin, Marissa, you know, and
Mhm.
there's just hundreds of other people, like the people who were there that kept the lights on at the theater.
Anthony, I want to say that I really do consider you a like an important stake and milestone in our Florida community, and I really appreciate everything that you do. And you know, I look forward to working with you again. Hopefully, sometime
Me
soon.
too. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I love your space and you guys down there. It's great. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
man.
having me.
Thank you for being available, man. And I just before I sign off, la- ladies and gentlemen, today's FSC Improv interview was with Anthony Francis from Improv U. Look at that sun in his eyes right now. It's amazing. You can see him in Delray Beach. Anthony, what's your website? Where could we find you?
TheImprovU.com.
ImprovU.com. You heard it here. Again, this is Will Luera, Director of Improvisation at Florida Studio Theater with Anthony Francis from Improv U. Thank you so much, man. That was a great talk. I really appreciate it.
Me too, man. Anytime. This is great. Thank you.
All right, everyone. And we have another virtual show coming up at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much, Anthony.
Goodbye, America.